Hi, I'm Robert Borton, CEO of Classical Conversations, the world's largest classical Christian homeschooling community. I'm launching a new podcast, Refining Rhetoric. If you like cross politics or just listen to hear what crazy stuff they're saying today, you will enjoy Refining Rhetoric. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform. I practice the 15 tools of learning by interviewing great guests, looking at current events, and talking about cryptocurrency.
Yes, it's Thursday. Welcome to Cross Politics on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox. I'm the Water Boy. We also got a great update interview coming from Colonel. We might need to delete this part on YouTube because last time we had him on, he got deleted on YouTube.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that I wasn't here for that show.
So we got suspended
Colonel
from YouTube.
Bleep.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to Colonel Bleep.
You know, this week I've been reading Joseph. The story of Joseph.
Joseph
all
Smith?
week. No.
He's a heretic.
Yeah, not that Joseph. Our, Abraham, Isaac,
We call that
Jacob,
the book
and
of
Joseph. Yeah.
Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
And it's such a great story.
Yeah.
Some Bibles,
Joseph.
the Gideon Bible doesn't have.
Oh, yeah.
The
yeah.
Gideon Bible doesn't have it?
No,
Well,
Psalms.
you know, they do like that New Testament Psalms thing
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah,
hand
it's
out
like-
little people.
Yeah.
So you might not get Genesis.
Little Bibles for little Christians.
And this is nothing. Little Bibles for little Christians.
Oh, he's doing stand-up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
That's funny, Toby. And I mean, this is nothing new, but just how he handled all the wickedness done to him in his life.
Yeah.
Had no bitterness whatsoever.
Yeah.
And how he was like the present of forgiveness was really ready when he saw his brothers.
Yeah.
And he was emotional about it.
Yeah.
Breaking down.
This about your arrest again?
No, not at all.
Just wondering.
It's
Seems
just,
like
a,
it's
just
about
a
you.
great. It's just been a great encouragement reading Joseph this week. I've been really enjoying it. I'm kind of reading, going back and reading it again.
Just sharing.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's
that was
just
all.
Thursday. What do we call it? Theology Thursdays?
Yeah.
No.
There we
No,
go.
we call it Gabe shares his Bible reading Thursdays. By the way, I have nothing against the Gideons. I think the Gideons
No.
are awesome. I'm just imagining everybody sending a bunch of emails like the Gideons do great work.
Yeah.
And I know they do great work. I'm so grateful for them.
That's funny.
Did it get you, Pastor? It's like, I don't want the emails. Y'all don't at me right now.
I loved the Gideons.
It was a joke.
It was just a joke.
People
right?
don't take jokes anymore. Anyway.
Right. I mean, even on cross politics,
Yeah, you
they're
can't
like,
take it.
you serious?
Oh, are you serious?
You serious?
I'm gonna cancel my club membership.
Read more Chesterton. Oh, wow. Ain't that the truth? See, now you got to say that we were just joking.
All right, I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm in that mood. We had one club member cancel membership and email us and said, "Man, I figured out you guys are for interracial marriages. I'm canceling my club membership." I'm like, you watched the show, right? I mean, and then you financially support us, and then that was that.
I feel like that was a fail for
That's
our
on
part.
us,
That-
yeah.
That's true.
that he was a member to begin with.
It's true.
What do you?
That's
I
on
know.
us.
That is on us.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. We
We're
love you, club
sorry.
members. We got some quirky ones. It's fun.
Reformation Heritage Books is a publisher and bookseller whose mission is, by the Spirit's grace, to aim for the conversion of unbelievers and equip the saints to serve Christ and his church through biblical, experiential, and practical ministry via books, tracts, and other resources. Reformation Heritage Books is committed to the conviction that the scriptures of the Old and the New Testaments, including Genesis with the story of Joseph, are originally written as God's inerrant word, inspired by his Spirit, and therefore are the only sufficient and infallible authority for faith and practice, including politics. Visit their website at heritagebooks.org to place your order today. That's heritagebooks.org.
That's just such a great ad.
Yeah, it is. And so you guys, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Although there's this line, what does it say? It's like, I was a conspiracy theorist until all of them came true, and then now I don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Well, in our notes it says Candace and eggs.
So I was on.
Wow.
Yeah, Gabe, that is.
We live in a world where you got to be more careful. You can't just say that.
Our show notes need to maybe a little more. Okay.
don't
All right,
write
take
that.
us there, man. Take us there.
I was searching on social media and I ran across a reel where somebody was talking about, we've had an egg problem. Price of eggs have gone up exponentially.
For Dave Rubin.
That got Neil. That got Neil. I heard Neil.
Dave Rubin's
This is
having a hard
gonna be
time
an interesting show.
buying more eggs. That what
No,
we're talking
not
about?
for Reuben,
Oh.
but maybe for everybody. Those
Probably for
different kind of
Reuben.
eggs.
Probably for Reuben, too.
But a lot of people who have chickens have not been able to get their chickens to lay eggs. They've been having a problem countrywide. Their chickens are not laying eggs.
I got 3 chickens that haven't laid eggs all winter.
Gabe,
I started out with 10 chickens this winter.
Yeah.
And a
got
coyote probably got 7 of them, and I think it lowered the morale, and they stopped giving me eggs.
Well, so
apparently the chickens in the country
They're like
got some low
hiding
morale.
in the corner every night. Is like, it's like the Russian roulette.
We're not going to give you any eggs because you don't protect us.
coyote roulette, and they're just like, we're done giving eggs in this environment. We need safety.
This is an interesting day for you. I don't know how to feel about you right now. But okay, so I'm starting to pay attention and start seeing that this is actually a problem around the country. Everybody's having a problem with their chickens laying eggs. Well, the lady says, well, me and a few other homesteaders decided to let our chickens free roam and not give them the feed, and they stopped eating the feed that was there. Okay. And as soon as they did, they started laying eggs again.
Whoa.
And so other people, I started seeing, when I see a conspiracy, I'm like, ooh, a new one. All my COVID ones.
A chicken conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Interesting.
Anyway, I started seeing this happen to a lot of other folks. I go today, turn on my Twitter, Instagram, and I saw this clip from Candace Owens.
There's a conspiracy going on that the chicken feed, right, what the farmers feed their chickens, has somehow been tainted, and it has led to none of these chickens being able to lay eggs. So a young woman on TikTok began investigating. She thought it was very strange. She started talking to people locally, and it's the same thing. They're saying, they're not laying eggs. And this started around September. And she starts looking at the feed. Okay, what are we all feeding our chickens? And apparently there's not very many distributors of chicken feed. And she determines that there's 2 main ones. And actually she discovers that it's just one main one, and it's Purina. Purina is the main owner of the chicken feed that they are all feeding. She goes down and she decides to switch up the feed. And immediately the chicken begins to start laying eggs again.
So
Whoa. So my chickens are on Purina, and they stopped laying eggs.
Okay.
I mean, they really did. And I thought it was just some sort of I thought my chickens were like Democrats, and they were just mad at the government because I wasn't protecting them from the coyote or something.
Yes, you already mentioned that part, Gabe. You mentioned that.
I thought that was just had a mutiny egg thing on my hand, but I'm serious. They're eating Purina.
I know. So outside of the Unsolved Mystery music, I think this is interesting to me enough that I want to say this. Listen. I trust the people who listen to our show and the ones that we have community with far more than I trust anybody else right now. The circles that are close to me. So here's what I want to ask. If you are a homesteader, if you have chickens, could you tell us if this is true and what's going on? Are you seeing some of the same things? So email us.
I'm going to change up my feed.
Yeah. Email us. Yeah. It is contact@fightlaughfeast.com. This is a way that we're trying to aggregate stories ourselves. I don't trust these corporations. I don't trust these big I don't trust any of them right now.
Right.
I want to know from the people on the ground who actually have chickens, are you seeing the same thing? I don't even trust Candace. I want to trust the people who are sending us information. I want to kind of find out if this is true or not. So send us your review of this reality.
Okay. I see what you're doing
to contact@fightlaughfeast.com.
And contact@fightlaughfeast.com, because when we first started talking about the story, it's like, man, I need more data. I need more investigation on it.
We all need more data, and we can aggregate
and did you hear that there's a major fire in one of the largest chicken egg laying chicken facilities plants in the U.S. burned down.
Egg-laying chicken facilities.
And so you got all this Cajun chicken wings.
Well, here's the deal. If you're able to aggregate if you're able to control the food, you can control a lot of things.
Yeah,
and we know that they're trying to do that. I don't put it past the government.
This goes back to like Stalin and Lenin.
Absolutely. And
this is an old government tactic.
And if you already got the chicken laying, what'd you call them?
Chicken egg laying eggers.
Yes. If you have that and you don't have the private industry, what do? Well, you go after the food. This makes complete sense to me, right? And you say, well, if they need to buy our food for their chickens and we can stop them from laying eggs, now it could be an accident. Somebody spilled some turpentine inside of the
flush out the system,
and they're like, oh yeah, this batch was bad, but I don't know. I wanted to put it to our listeners.
Contact@fightlaughfeast.com. So
also, we're looking for investigative reporters, by the way.
So you can make this your first story.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. All right. So, State of the Union. There's one other thing that we wanted to hit because it's actually a far bigger problem.
Come on, guys. That was enough.
I'm just gonna say this now. Far bigger problem in the Republican Party than we realize. But anyways, Here's Joe Biden. That we didn't get to this, but it's really important. So pay attention. Here's Joe Biden talking about Social Security.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are.
Tell us, Joe.
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's the majority. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. I enjoy conversion. It means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. So, folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now. Right? They're not to be stopped. All right.
Wow.
So that was Biden at his sharpest in his.
We didn't even play all of it because
Yeah.
he actually was.
He played the
pretty.
Republicans on that.
And they all stood up and clapped in unity. And he's like, okay, cool.
We're good on social. We're all socialists now.
Yeah.
You see what he did?
Yeah.
He got him.
He turned it all on the Republicans. Yeah.
That's a bait.
It's a bait and get you.
Yeah. You guys don't want me. You don't want us to be socialist. Well, yes, we do. Yes, we do. You
Yeah.
sure about that? Yes, we do. We want to be socialist. We want the government to take care of our parents and
That's right.
grandparents.
That's right.
It's the government's job to take care of them.
We're all Gabe's chickens right now.
Wait.
They want protection and health care and freedom.
Ooh.
They
'Cause
want,
I'm like-
they want the coyotes out of the pen.
I was trying to
And
figure
we're all
out.
They want their freedoms.
I was trying to figure out who wasn't laying eggs.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
It's both sides now.
Yeah, this is going way too far. What is it? So Senator Scott.
Yeah.
See, when you hit that button, it just doesn't.
I
doesn't
hit the table.
So Senator Scott went on. This must have hit a nerve.
CNN. This is on CNN. Yeah.
Because they
Great.
came back
Oh,
and
it's
was
worse?
Because
like,
this happened today. This happened
no.
to Senator Scott today.
It's
Listen to
even
this.
worse.
Yeah.
Nobody believes that I want to cut Medicare or Social Security. I've never said it. I've never said it. In that same plan, I said Congress needs to once a year tell the American public how they're going to make sure those programs don't go bankrupt because they're in the verge of bankruptcy.
Oh, come on,
And here's
man.
the difference between Joe Biden and me. I've never proposed it. In 1975, he has a bill, a sunset bill, and it says it requires every program to be looked at freshly at least every 4 years, not just cost, but worthiness. And, Caitlin, he said, when I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare, Medicaid, veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in government. So here's the difference. I've never proposed it. He proposed it in a bill, and he fought for it year after year after year.
You're talking about what he proposed back in 1975, as almost 50 years ago. But you have said he's twisting your words. But isn't that the same thing that what you're proposing now, what you rolled out last summer?
Mine says clear. Mine says clear. If it's worth keeping, we're going to keep it. In his case, okay, he proposed a bill to just sunset everything. I've never done that. I've been very clear. I am not for cutting Social Security, Medicare. That quote says he proposed it year after year after year to reduce Medicare and Social Security. Year after year. I've never done that. I don't believe in that. I think we've got to preserve those benefits.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's not a good argument that I am more communistic than Biden.
That's exactly what he's saying. No, I'm a real communist. I really am a communist. He's the one that wasn't really a communist. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you just
I'm a better communist than Joe Biden.
All you did was
Yeah.
argue for why we should have, why Joe Biden in the 1970s would have been more fiscally conservative than our Republicans today.
Today, I know exactly. Exactly, Toby.
And notice that nobody here has they just took the bait.
Absolutely.
Where is he? He's in Florida. Florida, vote him out.
Oh man,
Vote him out. Tell him we don't want socialists. We don't want communists. We believe that our parents and our grandparents are our responsibility to take care of. It is never efficient to have the government take care of things. It's not their job. God has not given the civil government the sword to take care of our grandparents. Do you know what they did during COVID?
Yeah.
They locked
That's right.
him down and they died alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's what
That's right.
Rick Scott just
That's
argued.
exactly
No.
right.
I don't worry. I want the government to still be able to lock them down and kill our parents.
That's right.
That's what he said.
That's right.
And so, do you think that you can do a better job of taking care of your parents in the federal government?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day of the week.
And guess what? It's your responsibility too anyway.
My grandma just turned 95 yesterday.
Oh, man.
And my parents take care of her. She lives with my parents
Yeah.
in Texas.
Beautiful.
In Texas.
Yeah.
That's why she's doing so well.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
That's
No,
exactly.
it's-
And not
But
just,
but serious, like they're taking care of her and she is doing great.
Man.
and you know what?
Because we know how to take care of our own parents.
Yep.
And Rick Scott, just sold the American people out
Yep.
on CNN. He bowed down to their God.
Yeah.
And she has him by hooks.
And he beat out Biden.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Also, I just want on the taking care of the parents thing. I just got to say this: there is a transfer of information and knowledge and wisdom and trust that grandparents have in them
Yes.
that parents don't have quite yet,
Yeah.
and that grandchildren need.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's a transfer of information, and when we lose that because we're not,
Right.
they have more to give us
Right.
than we have to give them,
Right.
and we need to remember that there's a blessing there for us in that, and we need that in our lives.
And Jesus explicitly rebuked the Jewish leaders
That's right.
for how they created traditions of men in order to supplant the clear commands of God, which
right.
have to do with honoring and and providing for your parents. It's a financial commitment. And it's the same thing with the ESA thing that we were talking about
That's right.
yesterday. Is like we're taking the bait.
Yeah.
I mean, I read all these defenses of the education choice programs, and they're saying, "Don't worry, we're not taking any money from government schools. We're actually giving them more money."
That's right.
yeah, from where?
Like, so basically you're saying at the end of this, we're going to owe you more. Like, we're going to owe the government more. And that's, Rick Scott's doing the same thing. Don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. I think the government should take care of your parents and grandparents. And yeah, if they need to be locked down and die alone in a nursing home again, so be it.
Let's create the opportunity for that to exist again. Right. All right, we're gonna.
It's a Colonel
can't
Kevin
say
Hall.
his- Beep.
Colonel
Oh,
Kevin
beep.
Hall.
Hey.
Coming on next.
Yeah.
Yep.
All these cases are being won. More cross politics.
That's right.
Next, more winning happening. I like that.
Yeah.
Free men need to be able to protect their families. It's really sad to see people hurt, livelihoods destroyed, even homes destroyed, just to make a political point. Free men take action when churches face heartbreaking attacks. And while cowards stand idle, free men run towards the sound of gunshots when children are in danger. I'm so thankful for free men who stand ready with the tools of liberty.
Takes everything we make. They're power hungry and malicious. Their economics are fictitious. Soon we'll have to eat our dishes.
That song, I still love that song.
That's all?
I got another one if you want.
Going.
Okay,
Their
well, hold on.
economics are fictitious.
Who can take your money? Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye.
Oh my goodness.
Take it all away and give it to some other guy.
The government.
The government.
It's catchy.
The
It's
government
catchy.
can.
Man, we need to play that more often.
We need to update the vaccination
Who
part.
can tax
We need to add
Yeah.
vaccination,
Is there a
lyrics.
verse about the vaccination?
We should add it. That's what I'm saying.
About canning all of our
Yeah.
faithful soldiers
Yeah,
and government
colonels.
officials. I
Yeah.
know. Welcome back to Cross Politic, where the government can. Did you guys know that you can sign up for a club membership, a magazine subscription, and tickets to the Fight Laugh Feast conference at the Ark Encounter?
Well, discounts to tickets to the fight.
all in one place.
Oh, okay.
You
I
can.
see where you're going.
That's some. This is hilarious. That's some cross pollination right there.
You did good, Pastor.
Oh
Good
man,
job.
our redhead wrote that.
The
That's what
government
happened.
can. FightLaughFeast.com is your one-stop shop for everything cross politic. Here's what you should do right now. Just hit pause there on your screen or on your podcast player. You should sign up for a club membership if you're not already. Then run over and register for the Fight Laugh Feast conference at the Ark Encounter, and you get $100 discount off your purchase for being a club member.
Where to go?
And then sign up for a magazine subscription while you're there.
You're losing money if you don't become a club member.
Pretty much.
Come to our conference.
Yeah. We've even got our own social media platform built into our website now for our club members.
It's kind of cool. I like it.
Once you're a club member, you get access to exclusive content, backstage conversations, also Bible study series, Proverbs with me, a special series of New St. Andrews President Dr. Ben Merkel, all our backstage content, and all our conference talks, past, present, even future.
I think
they're not there yet.
The first 4 should be up. Yeah, Christian discipleship by Pastor.
There really hasn't been a better time to be a Cross Politic Club member, so sign up today at fightlaughfeast.com.
Man, help us beat the Daily Wire. Help us beat the Blaze. Help us beat CNN Plus. Yeah. Actually, CNN Plus has been deleted. It's not even.
They've rebranded.
They're going to reboot. They're going to reboot. We beat them for the 3 weeks they were alive.
Hey, very grateful to have with us Colonel Kevin Hall. He serves as senior advisor to the director of airspace and cyberspace operations for the AFMC at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin, back on Cross Politic.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
So now if you remember last time, we had, the Colonel on.
The Colonel. Yes.
We had you on. You told us your story, and then YouTube suspended that show. We got suspended. From YouTube because we had you on, and all you were talking about was just your fight to not be forced vaxxed in the military. And YouTube, what made me so mad, I'm just going to take this for just 1 minute.
Yeah.
What made me so mad about that
in a second, Colonel.
is we have this 23-year veteran on the show, who would give his life to fight for the freedoms for YouTube to exist and all this in a free capitalistic country.
Yeah.
And then YouTube's like, beep.
Yeah.
Delete.
Right.
Delete this dude who would give his life for us to exist.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
More than that, I got a letter of reprimand basically in part for doing the show as well.
Wait,
no
what?
Way!
Wait.
Whoa. What happened?
Yeah. What happened?
So I should probably start this with a disclaimer. And I really think it's silly. What I should do is a sarcastic disclaimer that my opinion is, in fact, the Air Force's opinion. My opinion that they're violating the Constitution, that what they're doing is unlawful, and that everything is a crime against humanity. That represents the Air Force's opinion. Sarcasm intended.
The government can.
Yes.
So what was your letter of reprimand?
Well, so in part because I wrote back against so first I got a LOA, right, a letter of admonishment for not getting the vaccine, which, like you guys had me on, this is a good news story that got rescinded here back on January 10th.
Okay.
But so I got a letter of admonishment for not getting the vaccine, and I responded to that. And in the response, I basically admonished them for what they were doing and ignoring everything that I had written to them. And then the LOR, they had seen the Cross Politic interview, and they said that it was unprofessional. So I asked the 3-star point blank, what was unprofessional? First of all, did you listen to it? And he claimed that he had. So I asked, what did you find unprofessional about it? And he said he was going to keep that his opinion to himself on that subject, which, the context was, it came off to me, it sounded like he didn't actually watch it or didn't know what he was talking about and didn't want to say anything about it. So they said it was unprofessional, and they put it in the LOR, which was a combination of 3 things. 1, the interview. 2, my vocal emails to my leadership saying that what they were doing was unlawful, illegal. And then, 2 weeks after I talked to the 3-star, the injunction came out. So they got that shortly thereafter. But so, it was a combination of this interview and my response to the LOA, basically calling them to task, and then my other emails. And they said, you're being unprofessional and you're too vocal about calling us out for doing something that's unlawful.
So would someone, because obviously your 3-star general, is not a fan of Cross Politic, and
you don't know that. He might not be a fan of the Colonel.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's that club member that emailed in. Anyways, did someone have to report our show with you to them? I mean, like, how would they?
I think it's in part because at the time I was running for a campaign here for local politics, and I had it on a website, and somebody probably forwarded it to them. Who knows? But I was being very vocal at the time, and I'm sure.
I just want to make sure you're not feeling suicidal. You love life.
I fight, laugh, and feast. So
Oh,
how about that?
all
Enjoy
right.
life.
All right, just making sure. Because next you go missing. I just
YouTube deletes you first. You get one strike.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sort of pleased though that Cross Politics somehow ended up in a letter of reprimand.
in the military.
It's sort of like I feel like it's a little like a little
badge of honor.
badge of honor there. So
Yeah.
Could you update us on
Well,
what?
that's what I told them.
yeah,
Well,
Oh,
man,
thank you.
You know, what?
Yeah.
Pray for the colonel. Seriously,
Yeah,
pray
yeah,
for the
seriously,
colonel.
seriously.
So, could you give us an update on your case and what's going on, where things stand right
Are you
now?
still in the military? Did you have to?
Yeah.
Did you get fired?
Sure.
What, we don't even know the terminology, but
right.
So the short update is, again, I'm a reservist, and they basically, I don't remember the exact timeline, but they stopped. They told me my services were no longer requested because I was a part-time reservist back somewhere over about a year and a half ago now. And then so I put in for retirement since I have more than 20 years active duty and 23 years total. So I was supposed to be retired last June or July. I put in for 2 dates and they never got back to me with either of them. So I was supposed to be retired about a year ago, and they have since then basically been dragging their feet administratively. And they because of the LOR, basically said, we have to put you in for a, what's the exact term? Basically to see if my last few years of service count. Not a line of duty determination, but determine if my service counted towards those good years in the retirement. So that process is now dragged on for this entire time. And I just called the other day. They still have heard nothing. A process that was supposed to be done, several months, 6 months ago, really, is still dragging on, almost a year later. So I should be retired, and I will be retired here shortly. But that's the short of what's going on with me. I'm blessed. We're doing just fine. There's lots of service members that I would like to call attention to more than myself. I'm just one of many cases, and by far the least egregious of the things that are going on. So but the big news, if you want me to go over that real quick,
Yes.
is January 10th. The memorandum, right here from the senior Pentagon leadership to them is the rescission of the 24 August 2021 and the November 30th 2021 vaccination requirements. So the Secretary Austin basically says, I'm deeply proud of the work we did, yada, yada. We'll continue to promote and encourage this. But, because of the NDAA, which requires me to rescind this, and that word rescission is important. I'll come back to that. He's herefore says, I rescind these two memorandums that were basically driving that entire thing. No individuals currently serving shall be separated solely on the basis of the refusal to receive the vaccination. If that's a big if they sought an accommodation on religious, administrative, or medical grounds. So apparently you can still separate them if they didn't seek an accommodation on religious, administrative, or medical grounds. And the military departments will update the records of such individuals to remove any adverse actions solely associated with the denials of such requests, including letters of reprimand. And I'm actually helping somebody with this, that they will further, let's see, there's more. Basically, it also says you can request for a review of, so I'm helping this one Marine who was administratively discharged with a general other than honorable discharge for refusing the vaccine. So he now has no access to the VA, for education benefits and a whole list of other benefits that he would have had if he hadn't gotten honorable. So we can petition to get that service characterization changed. That is one of the wins. There's some big wins in there, but it's still, it falls short in several different areas there. So that's the big news, and the big update is that we did have that win, and now that the litigation's ongoing, and I can cover some of that. But I'll stop there real quick and see what questions that brings up for you guys.
Yeah. So Defense Secretary Austin, he's the guy that would double mask.
Yeah, with a big old plate, clear plate,
and he still got COVID.
Yeah,
and everything. Yeah,
because guess what?
That That's
Masks
smart.
don't work.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know.
Well, this show obviously is not going to be played on YouTube at this point. We got a colonel who's out of fellowship with YouTube, and now Doc just mentioned masks don't work.
Yeah. Well.
So he rescinds the forced vax order, but he didn't rescind it. He got forced by Congress to rescind it, right? Because this is part of the new budget. This is part of this is a requirement of the 2023 National Defense Authorization Act. So this is a congressional.
Yeah, exactly, correct.
He's no hero in all this. He's just doing what he's told to do from Congress. Correct.
Sorry, you broke up there a little bit, but yeah, he's being told to do this, and it's very clear that they're not wanting to do this. It's against their wishes.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the as I understand it, this doesn't cover previous military, I'd say men, not people, because when you say people, it's all
Okay.
Him, her, they, them, all that stuff. That it doesn't cover previous people who'd been actually fired for not getting the vax. Is that correct?
So yes, it's very specific in terms of, no individual currently serving shall be separated solely based on this. And they'll update the records of such individuals to remove any adverse actions solely associated with the denials of such requests. So it leaves open, everybody that lost a job or didn't get a promotion or put in or was discriminated against or, wasn't able to move. There's a whole host of, what criminal civil because of the shadow policy. People are still being discriminated against, even though officially the policy has gone.
Mm-hmm.
They still lost out on opportunities, were very egregiously discriminated against, and now have all the follow-on problems in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just straight out under the table stuff like you can't deploy, you can't go on this assignment because you're not vaccinated. Even though the policy's gone, there's still a shadow policy that's lingering in effect.
So, Colonel Hall, I just have to ask you then, do you think that Congress fell short in this? I mean, we're thankful for what they did, but what would you have urged them to fully push for?
Well, so there's two tacks on that. My first impression is that, it could have been far better. However, when you look at the verbiage, and I've learned a lot about this. I actually just won my first court case lawsuit. Got a motion to dismiss approved with prejudice. And as I learn about a lot of this stuff, you really got to pay attention to the words. So what Congress did is they rescinded the order. Now, if you look at one of the lawsuits that was just filed, actually did a good job of pointing this out. This was Botello and 5 others against the United States of America. And says Congress intentionally used the term rescind rather than repeal to instruct Austin and the courts that Section 525 must be applied retroactively. If you're familiar with rescission, if you have the right of rescission on a contract 72 hours later, it basically makes that contract null and void. Okay. Rescission is the technical term, and I think the correct term that Congress used, and I think that it hasn't been carried out appropriately. So basically, everything to do with that order should have been rescinded and null and void. And if they properly carried out Congress's intent of making that null and void, I think that would about cover everything. But that's not what we're seeing in the order from Secretary Austin. Does that make sense?
Do you think I can't but think that this is doing significant damage to the military, like the leadership, the culture, the health of our military?
Oh yes.
But I can't really pinpoint what damage I think it's doing. Besides, I think distrust is happening. I think you're probably the military is probably weeding out a lot of the good guys, and the bad guys who are willing to be in the military for whatever reason are going to stay. So I think there's some of those conclusions you can easily draw from this. But what do you think? What damage do you think is being caused to the military through all this, through all these actions?
I'd say the spiritual damage to the body of people that would be serving. Those who stayed in violated their conscience. Those who got out and those who will never get in are not going to get in because they see things in such a bad shape that they would be unwilling to serve. So I think that it's an all volunteer military. you need good volunteers of moral integrity, and it's striking at the foundation. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. It strikes at the core pillar of integrity, and now service as well. The people that are serving for the wrong reasons or not serving at all. And then, excellence in all we do is just completely gone by the wayside, where they ignore all the facts.
And not to mention all the potential physical effects of all
this, myocarditis.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what that's doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Colonel Hall, could you stay around? Could you stay around for another 10 minutes or so, and we'll talk a little more. I want to talk a little bit more about this. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids, and if you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politics.
While God created the world, the morning stars sang together. After God delivered Israel through the Red Sea, Moses and Miriam led the people in singing. God destroyed Israel's enemies under King Jehoshaphat, while the choir sang. When Jesus was born, the angels sang, and before going to the cross, he sang. God rejoices over us with singing, and one of the only things we know for certain that everyone will be doing in heaven is singing. At New St. Andrews College, we understand that music is not an elective. It is central to our being and identity. We endeavor to train all our students in a joyful and robust musical literacy that will help them shape culture in a Christ-like direction wherever they go. Additionally, we offer the Certificate of Music in conjunction with our bachelor's degree in liberal arts and culture for students who desire extra music training beyond the regular music courses they will take as a part of the core curriculum. In the certificate program, you won't simply appreciate music or listen to it or talk about it. You will do music. You will study it, analyze it, read it, write it, sing it, and play it. You will receive private instruction in your primary instrument, as well as secondary lessons in voice, piano, conducting, and other instruments. You will receive a solid foundation in music theory and analysis. You will study music history, church music, and music pedagogy. And when you graduate, you will leave with the ability to sing, play, understand, and steward music in whatever church or community you plant yourself. I'm Dr. David Erb, and this is the Certificate of Music at New St. Andrews College.